Are you listening?
Strangers from distant lands, friends of old, you've been summoned to another episode of the Nerf Report. We are freezing our butts off here in the studio this week to bring you the top gaming news. I think it's like 25 outside right now, which means it's maybe 36 in the studio. You can't see my breath, so it might be a little warmer than that, but it is a cold episode of the Nerf Report that we're bringing you this week, and it's actually been a really solid week for me. You know, we played a lot of games. I dove back into Destiny 2. I really enjoyed getting back to Destiny 2, but I posted a meme because I played it on my PlayStation Portal and I was sitting in bed and there was legit a moment where I'm like, I recognize nothing. Like I felt like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria where he's like, I have no memory of this place because Destiny has changed so much. I mean, the last time I played Destiny 2, it was probably 3 years ago before my daughter was born. And the game, wildly different. But it's still the same game, right? It's just there's different menus, different places of interest, and a lot for me to go into and kind of try to re-explore. But I am really looking forward to kind of getting back into that side of gaming. But I also kind of played around with Avowed this week. Like, Avowed really kind of surprised me. Obviously, it's available for Xbox Game Pass, which means you gotta check it out, right? Like, it's part of your subscription. And overall, really solid game. I mean, I'm only like, I think an hour in, but I'm really digging that experience over there. And yeah, I mean, what's not to love? I mean, yeah, it's a really cool RPG. Definitely worth checking it out. So I'll have more to talk about as we dive deeper into that game, but surface level, I'm really kind of digging it. There was a video that came up this week that I wanted to share with y'all that I thought was absolutely hilarious. So let's pull it up. This came up over on Instagram. This is a gentleman who is at a talent show, and I guess his talent is Beat Saber. And the idea was that they were going to stream his gameplay directly to the projector behind him and allow everybody to see what he's doing, but instead he is accomplishing what is every VR player's nightmare. You think you're so cool. Like when you're playing Beat Saber or you're playing any other games on VR, you think you are literally like Luke Skywalker. Or if you're playing a first-person shooter, you feel like you're Rambo. You're running through. You don't look cool, right? You're playing Gorilla Tag and you're just like shaking your hands and everyone's like, what is he doing over there? I saw a guy playing VR at the airport. I was like, mazel tov to you. Get your workout in, but you look like a freak. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what do you kind of expect from that? But this is good. It's a funny video. My favorite part is the audience. Obviously, they got their giggles. They thought this was kind of adorable and kind of cute, but they did give him a round of applause and a standing ovation at the end of it. So definitely check it out. We'll link it in the description. But, you know, we got a big show, got a lot of gaming news to talk about, and before we dive into our first story of PALWORLD impacting Pokemon in a major way, let's take a second to say thank you to our sponsors. Did you know that on average, 12 video game podcasts die every single week? Now, is that a real stat? I don't know. I do this show by myself. We can't hire researchers, but with your support, we can avoid becoming another statistic and keep on making really cool content like this show, along with other cool shows in the future. That's right, by becoming a Nerf Gaming News Plus member, you not only help support independent games media, but you help us create really cool gaming content. Because with your support, we're able to hire things like researchers, writers, editors, along with other people who can ensure that we are constantly coming out with the best content possible for you. So, join Nerf Gaming News Plus today and get access to exclusive content, along with early access to everything else we make. Ah, look at that. Another gaming podcast just bit the dust. I guess we should make it 13. Did you all see the story that PALWORLD hit 32 million total players? Like, Nintendo's definitely not happy about this, right? Like, they have tried everything to stop this game. You know, they've hit PALWORLD with lawsuits. They told them to change their mechanics. I mean, at this point, nothing is stopping this game or slowing it down. I literally, you could say that PALWORLD is the Godzilla to Nintendo, and everybody at Nintendo is just like, run! It's Godzilla! And you know what? Mazel tov to PALWORLD, right? Like, that is a game that is only a year old. And somehow, this studio was able to make one of the best Pokemon games on the market without being a Pokemon game. Like, PALWORLD has done so well that there's a huge Nintendo Pokemon Direct that's coming out next week, and Game Freak's promoting it, and they're like, you don't want to miss it. And I feel like PALWORLD has raised the bar for player expectations so much for this genre that in no world can Nintendo come out and just be like, we're re-releasing Pokemon Red, and our next generation Pokemon game is just going to be just like Arceus, because I feel like the genre has moved past it. Like, Pokemon used to be in control of the pace, but I feel like PALWORLD has just been like, nah, we got this, fam. You're kind of behind us at this point. Like, PALWORLD has done such a great job showing that the genre can be so much more. And a Pokemon game where you catch and battle and train, but then you blend in some Animal Crossing, some survival mechanics, and base building mechanics, and open world. I mean, it just sounds awesome. Like, I want a Pokemon game like this. But, this news did get me wondering, right? Like, 32 million is nothing to bat an eye at. I mean, it's a huge milestone for the developer. And if I were Nintendo, I would seriously be looking at these numbers and realizing that, like, there's a big demand for a Pokemon-style game outside of the Nintendo ecosystem, which I think is like a no-brainer for all of us who talk about video games. But, like, could Nintendo and Game Freak be talking about, like, maybe it's time to release some of the Pokemon games away from the Switch? Maybe we put a Pokemon game on PlayStation. Maybe we put a Pokemon game on Xbox. Maybe we put a Pokemon game on mobile devices or on PCs. Pokemon on mobile has been a massive success for the company. You look at like Pokemon Go or Pokemon TCG Pocket, both of those games absolutely killing it for the company. And I think that they've shown that Pokemon can thrive outside of the Nintendo ecosystem. And you look at these PALWORLD numbers and you've got to wonder, like, hey man, what if you just re-released Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and mobile? How many more millions of copies could you sell? Because it's not like anybody's going to the Nintendo Switch or the Switch 2 to be like, I'm going to play Pokemon Red, right? Like, no one's running to that console to play it. So you could put it on these other platforms without jeopardizing the Nintendo platform. And I guess the other side of this too is like, Pokemon Red and Blue, based off the statistics we found, it's only sold 31 million copies. So PALWORLD, with their first game, has already surpassed the original Pokemon games, which is wild, man, because that Red and Blue number feels very, very low when you compare it to PALWORLD. And I gotta say, Pokemon has to be having these conversations. And if they're not, shame on them. Like, shame on Pokemon and shame on Nintendo. I say this as like someone who's in business and who's in sales and works on the marketing side, and like, I understand what a market does. But at the same time, I say this because it makes sense to me. But for Nintendo, 100% could see this never happening. Like, I could see Nintendo just being like, no, absolutely not. There will never be a Pokemon game outside of the Nintendo ecosystem. And it makes me sad because I feel like there's just so many other players who would enjoy playing these games on their preferred platforms. And, I guess you have Xbox, who's kind of bringing their games to other platforms. PlayStation's bringing their games to PCs. And it just feels like ecosystems are super fluid now. Like, games that used to be exclusive to one side are now able to be played in multiple different areas. And I feel like for Nintendo, yes, you're trying to sell your brand new Switch 2 and you want everybody to buy it, but also it's like, hey man, there's players who don't want to buy the Switch 2. Like, how do you get the games to them and how do you sell more copies over there? So I wouldn't be surprised, but I would also be super surprised if this happens, which is a complete oxymoron. But Nintendo, if you're watching, please and thank you. Please bring the original Pokemon games to other platforms. I think that would be super cool. On the topic of games, there was another story that came up this week, and I love it, man. Because Fortnite, they dropped a bunch of brand new details about Chapter 2, Season 6 this week. They got a new trailer. Sub-Zero's in it. It's really cool. But that is not the story that anybody is talking about. Like, yeah, cool. It's another season. We know we got new content. Super cool. What we're excited about is just the straight cold-bloodedness of Epic Games and Fortnite and how they are deciding to deal with cheaters moving forward. In case you missed it, Fortnite pro Repulse God was sued by Epic Games for cheating during the 2023 Fortnite Championships. And as part of the punishment, Epic Games required Repulse to post a video admitting to being a cheater on their personal YouTube channel. And like, I'm not gonna stand on some like high ground and say that like cheating isn't bad. right? I'm not going to be like, you should never cheat, because there's a place for cheats, right? Like, I think everyone, if we admitted, once or twice typed in Rosebud when we're playing The Sims. And, you know, like, when I played Tony Hawk back in the day, I sure as hell put some cheats into that game. But the cheats today, I feel like, are so different. You know, when you're talking about competitive games, like, I mentioned I played Destiny 2 earlier, and I got into the competitive side, and I did the Trials of Osiris, and I was like, nope, not doing this, because there's some very suspicious players in that group. And then Call of Duty, another game that has a ton of cheaters, and they obviously just want to, like, improve it and make it better, but, like, no, these cheaters still exist. They're like, we banned 50,000 cheaters. Ban more. Ban more of them, because whatever you're doing is not working. Like, there's constantly new hacks, constantly new cheats. And cheating has become such a big part of our culture in gaming that we literally had a developer release a first-person shooter game where everyone gets the ability to cheat. Yeah, check this out. Cheaters Cheetah is a brand new shooter that gives every player aimbots, wall hacks, and a ton of other cheats that pretty much level the playing field. Like, essentially, this game means that anyone who plays it can be just as good as your favorite insert kick streamer here. Now, in the case of Fortnite and the obvious public humiliation route that they're taking here, I just want to say I'm a big fan. I think this is super cool. Repulse hadn't made a video in like 3 years or something, and Fortnite pretty much dragged him out of retirement to make a new video. And look, we'll show the video here, right? I mean, I'm not going to be that type of creator, but it's not the greatest video in the world, right? I mean, I would give an F for effort here. There's no hook. There's no fast-paced editing. There's nothing in this video that makes it a good YouTube video in 2025. But that being said, I mean, Repulse's text-based apology video has garnered 300... I'm sorry. Hold on. Repulse's video has garnered 300,000 views in 6 days. I think we might be overthinking this whole YouTube thing. You're telling me that this guy cheats, posts a video apologizing with just a white screen and black text, and he gets 300,000 videos, yet we have this state-of-the-art facility with cool lower third graphics and other cool stuff that we do here. We get 5K. We are doing this whole YouTube thing completely wrong, my friends. I will say, though, the comment section for this video was just chef's kiss. I highlighted some of my favorites. One person said, getting bent over by Epic is wild. The second one said, ChatGPT, write a Fortnite apology for me, which kind of adds up. The next one says, I won't cheat in Fortnite again. You won't ever compete in Fortnite again, little bro. Getting put on a collar and leash by Fortnite is crazy. Epic told bro to bark for them, and he did it like a good boy. And this should be the loading screen in the game, which, hey, I think that'd be funny. Like, they should put, like, the cheaters' photos and be, like, busted. And, like, have, like, the fines. Like, show people what's going to happen if you cheat. Make it so, like, it's not a cool thing to, like, post your cheat videos and be, like, a cool streamer. Like, let's clean up these games. Let's make the games fun again. I don't know, but... I did look, the Fortnite competitive scene, they did release like an official statement to this, pretty much saying that like, cheating is never a winning strat. We took legal action against a player who shared their account to unfairly qualify for the Fortnite Championship Series. Now they are banned from Fortnite tournaments forever, and their undeserved prize money was donated to charity. So you lose your money, you lose the ability to play the game, your money goes to charity that you don't get to pick, and you get publicly embarrassed by millions and millions of people. The moral of the story, kids, don't cheat. Have we talked about the DUNE video game trailer that dropped this week yet? Because this game looks super sick. Like, it looks incredibly promising. Like, it's only 2 minutes of footage, but I think that this game has the potential to be very, very solid. Like, it looks like you crash land on Arrakis, and you obviously have to, like, fight for survival. You build planes, tanks, trikes, and buildings. You got the ability to, like, apparently fly, and in-game combat looks kind of iffy, but, like, I can get behind it. And at one point, we see the giant sandworms, which, like, I'm 100% saying, if you cannot ride a sandworm in this game, it shouldn't even be released. Like, delay the freaking game. Like, this should be something I can do day one, is just to be able to ride a giant sandworm. And so anyway, after I saw this trailer, I did some digging because I definitely wanted to talk about it. So the Dune Awakening game is being developed by Funcom, who has been making games since like 1993. They've worked on games like Aloft, Mutant Year Zero, and Conan Exiles, which does pique my interest because it's like, this isn't some fly-by-night developer. This is someone who's obviously worked on large games. I mean, Conan Exiles was a big freaking game. Like, I remember when I was back on the Twitch days that, like, Conan Exiles was big for two reasons. Like, people loved playing it, but it also had, like, the dong meter where you could control the penile length of your characters. So it'll be interesting. Maybe Dune Awakening will get a dong meter just like Conan Exiles did. But, you know, you start going to the site and you dig through, like, what Funcom is talking about here. And they're promising that this game is going to be a large-scale, persistent, and highly immersive world, with it being multiplayer, so you'll run across a ton of players, and the game will feature a cinematic story as well. Essentially, you'll be sent to Arrakis to uncover where the natives have disappeared to, so while you're searching for them, you will learn the power of the desert and ultimately become an agent of the Atreides or the Harkonnen. And look, I mean, I'm not going to make you feel guilty, I'm not going to call you out here, but it's Atreides all the way. There is no other option than Atreides, and I feel like we have to make that very clear. Batista looked so sick, but I am not bowing the knee to the Baron at all in this game. We are going House of Atreides 100%, and we're going to double down on that. And so anyway, on Arrakis, you will learn to survive by learning the ways of the natives. You'll seek shadows to avoid the sun. You'll extract water from your enemies to be not dehydrate. And the world will be fully open, which means you can glide, climb, and visit social hubs. And one really cool note here from the developer is they said that the sands are constantly changing. And so essentially, the storms that come through will reshape the desert, and every single week, you'll have to race out to uncover new locations and rewards. So literally, the map will be changing every single week, and I think that's a really sick mechanic here. And like any other survival game on the market, whether you're talking about like Ark, or you're talking about like 7 Days to Die, crafting will be a big part, and with Dune, you'll be able to craft vehicles, brand new suits, furnitures, along with encampments to protect you from the elements of Arrakis. Now, as part of this trailer, Dune Awakening did give out like a release date, but it's just for PC. PC players will get to play Dune Awakening on May 20th for $49.99, but never fear, this game's also coming to PlayStation and Xbox. We just don't have a release date yet. I would say 6 months to a year after this, we probably would see it, but that's just me guessing here. But a cool part about this announcement is that the game's in-game character creation suite is available, so you can create your character for the game right now, and then when the game releases, you can upload them into the game. Either way, the game looks awesome. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. I am a fan of like open world survival games, and everything that I'm seeing here is really, really cool. And if Funcom does this correctly and the game doesn't feel like void and the game feels like there's life, I really do feel like you have the opportunity to make something special here. So come May 20th, I'm definitely going to be checking this out. Oh, you know, speaking of something else I'm going to be checking out, but I'm also a little heartbroken about it, Ninja Turtles are coming to Call of Duty. I honestly, I don't hate it, right? Like, I'm checking out these skins and I saw what got announced and I think it looks really cool. As a child of the 90s, it was such a big part of my childhood. The only downside is that what this is telling me is I am not rich enough to be a gamer, right? Like, the cost of these skins and to get all of them has become the bane of my existence right now, because in order to get every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin with Call of Duty, it will likely run you $90 US. In fact, Charlie Intel over on X broke this down and said, like, the chances are this is going to be like 4 separate bundles. There's no way that Activision is going to be like, yo, you can just buy one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bundle and then you can be whichever turtle you want to be. No, they're going to break it down to 4, and it's probably going to be like 2,400 COD points for every single one of them, which is like $20 US, I think, last time I bought something in there. And then there's the TMNT Battle Pass, which is definitely going to run you like another $11. So in total, if you're buying all the characters and then you're buying the Battle Pass, yeah, you're $91 in, which is wild for Call of Duty. And I mean, at that point, you're really forcing me to like make a choice. Like, I'm not going to buy all 4 of them. I've got to pick one. And I guess you go Leo. You got to go Leo, right? Maybe Mikey. Mikey could be cool, but Leo's got the swords. You're just running into battle with dual swords. I just feel like that would be such a cool COD experience, but God, I hate it. They've already taken $20 from me, maybe $40 if I get to, and it's not even out yet. And you know what? Destiny 2 did this same thing. I got back into Destiny 2 simply for the fact that they're Star Wars skins. And then what happened? 5 minutes into the game, boom, $60 out of my bank account because I gotta get the Stormtrooper skin. And when you get the Stormtrooper skin, you gotta get the Death Star Ghost. And then you definitely need to get the lightsaber emote. It literally, my life with gaming right now has become the book of if you give a mouse a cookie. These developers are making a killing. Especially if you're Marvel rivals and you're putting out like thirsty Seuss Storm skins and everyone's like, I bought the skin because I liked the character. Sure, bud, you bought it for the character. But let's face it, I, like the rest of the gamer, I am a sucker for skins and I will definitely be buying this. It is interesting though, you know, the one takeaway I'm looking at is like everyone's going to be in Call of Duty pretty soon. You know, my buddy was telling me he played Fortnite the other day and he got killed by Peter Griffin and Godzilla. And I was like, that's a combo, man. And I wonder, is Call of Duty going to get to that point where we have just everybody as a playable character? But anyway, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle COD crossover goes live on February 27th. And I think it's extremely safe to say that this month's ad revenue will be dedicated to those skins. And the final story for this week is Amazon Luna coming to an end. Yeah, I typically try to shy away from these doom and gloom stories, but Ethan Evans, the former vice president of Amazon Games, posted over on LinkedIn discussing his time at the company and trying to compete with Steam and trying to dethrone Steam and talking about the struggle of how Amazon was never able to accomplish that. And look, Amazon does a lot, right? Like they do all the things on their store. You can literally get anything delivered to my house within a day. They've got Audible, and I'm subscribed to Audible. They've got Prime Video for Lord of the Rings. I'm subscribed to that. You've got Amazon Music, you got Prime Gaming, you got Luna, you got Twitch, you got everything that this company does. And somehow, with all that money and all those resources, they still could not defeat Steam. And I think that that's just such an incredible narrative to take away. Anyway, this post from Evans, let's go ahead and pull it up. In this, Evans is discussing how Amazon wanted to be the new Steam. So they started off by creating or purchasing a small PC store, and their hopes was like, we will replace Steam by being Steam. But it never gained traction, and so Amazon bought Twitch in hopes that when players are playing there, they can link the purchases to that PC store. Never gained traction. They weren't able to get that end. And then Amazon Luna happened. And Evans basically writes in here that Luna just never gained traction. Now, if you're not aware, Amazon Luna is Luna's cloud gaming platform that essentially allows users to stream their games to their phones, tablets, PCs, streaming sticks, or even your televisions. And Luna has gone through a lot of refreshes. I've been covering this a lot here on this channel, and the Luna we got initially is not the Amazon Luna we have today. Right now, it's super cool. You can link your GOG account, and whatever games you buy on GOG, you can stream them on Luna, and I think it's such an awesome feature. Plus, they've just narrowed down all the different libraries into 2, Prime Gaming and Luna Plus, and it's this makes sense. I love it. I love what Luna has become, but based off of these comments from the former vice president, I gotta wonder, does Amazon have high hopes for the future of Luna, or are we just kind of all on borrowed days at this point? Let's pull it up again so we can specifically see what he says here. Finally, we built Luna, a game streaming service that lets people play without a high-end PC. Around the same time, Google tried the same thing with their product Stadia, never gained significant traction. The whole time, Steam dominated despite being a relatively small company compared to Amazon, Google. The mistake was that we underestimated what consumers use Steam for. And again, I'm not trying to be a cloud gaming Nostradamus here. Even though, I will say, when Google Stadia finally shut down, look at the video that we dropped the day before Stadia called it quits. It was literally us coming on here, the biggest people praising Stadia throughout the entire life. We came on here and we're like, it's done. Stop buying games. It's not a good platform anymore. Next day, Stadia's dead. I'm not saying I killed Stadia, but I killed Google Stadia. And look, I'm not trying to raise alarms and be like, it's all over, abandon ship, mayday, mayday, mayday. What I'm trying to say is that when the VP of Amazon Gaming is we set out on the mission to be the next Steam, and that never happened. We have never been able to do that, and we failed. It does make you wonder, hey, if that's the mentality inside of Amazon, and this guy's not alone, how much longer will Amazon keep putting money into Amazon Luna? And you know, I tried to do some digging, and I want to see if we can maybe reach out over the next couple weeks. But there is a new VP of Gaming at Amazon. I wrote it down. It's Christoph Hartmann. And look, I don't know if Christoph will ever see this. I know some of the people on Luna do check out our videos. Open invitation. I'd love to have you on the show. I'd love to talk to you about the future of Amazon gaming. Let's talk about video games. Let's talk about Amazon Luna and, you know, the plans for the platform moving forward, and to see the vision. Because again, I'm just going off of the former vice president. Maybe this is why he's the former one. Maybe Amazon's like, this guy doesn't believe in the vision anymore. We got to part ways, and we got to bring in new people. Again, I want to give Amazon the benefit. Open invite to the company to come on the show. Anybody from Amazon Luna that wants to come on and talk, I'm opening the lines, please. My email's in the description. Reach out. We'll get that scheduled. But yeah, crazy story to kind of end the week's show on. And I hope it doesn't happen. Like, I genuinely love Amazon Luna. I'd love to see it continue. I'd love to see the cloud gaming continue to thrive. And we need more cloud gaming platforms out there. We need more platforms bringing kind of different options and different services for customers. But anyway, that is it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. Thank y'all so much for joining me. A big shout out to the Nerf Gaming News best friends who make this show possible each and every week. Until next time, my friends, as always, we'll see you in the next video.